If you think about it, technically it's a tier list of gacha tutorials. Stop! Don't say that! I can already see the YouTube video comments. They're gonna be like, actually, you only played the first 3 hours of this game, so you didn't really experience the full story yet. So actually, I think your rating is bad and you're cringe, and I think that you should... We are judging all the gacha games we played in the month of August, which ended last week. But it will be 15 gacha games, which isn't very comprehensive, but I'm not gonna rate games that I haven't played. And there will be 2 factors. I'm not unaware that a lot of people love these gacha games and they'll sink their entire life or their entire bank account or both sometimes. And I don't want to shit on someone's gacha game needlessly, because these are really important games that people like. And obviously everybody has their own personal preference and personal taste. Also, I don't want to get attacked by fans. So there are 2 judgments we're gonna do. One is what you're expecting. The tier list, which we based all the gacha games, and you go S tier to, F tier or whatever. And the other gacha game rating is by individual ratings. I'm a whale, you better approve my game. Oh, okay. Just slip me a spicy 50, and I'll put your game in the S tier. Don't worry. Oh yeah, I have a warning for you guys. Is this PowerPoint? It might be. It might be. Hold on a second. Anyway, now you don't know what program I'm using. The thing is, here's the thing, guys. I wanted to make like cool graphics and stuff for the PowerPoint presentation, but again, work was busy, so I didn't have time. So it's gonna be really bare bones, and I'm sorry about that. This better have them awesome, cool. Yeah, it totally does. Yeah, it has cool cool transitions. Oh, whoa, look at that. So cool. Did you like that? This is my judging criteria. So right now we're going to do individual judging before we get to the final judging of everything. So my judging, instead of going on a 5-star scale, will go on N, R, SR, SSR, and UR. For the gacha gamers, will be the highest tier. N is the lowest tier. And the 5 factors we have are art. So in this case, art means like the art style. Obviously, there are a lot of games where they have many different artists who contribute to the game. So you might be like, whoa, Rina, how are you going to be able to judge it based off of the art if there's so many different artists? For these games, there usually is still an art director who directs the kind of overall vibe and the art, generally the feeling, For the individual ranking, I'm going to try to be a little bit more objective, but for the overall ranking, that's completely based off my taste. Sorry, guys. Designs. So designs means basically the character designs. Because, we all have that joke of gacha character designs. Whoa, this looks like a gacha character. Whoa, Rina Astera, is she from Blue Archive? Whoa. But it is true. There are some games that have better designs than others. Some of them, the designs are really clunky. Some of them, the designs are really weird and disjointed. But there are some games that are better at making all the characters' designs look like they come from the same game. And some of them aren't as good. Rina's from Blue Archive? Wink. The next aspect is gameplay. I will say it'll be based mostly on, I think, enjoyment, if the gameplay is fun. Obviously, if the gameplay is more unique compared to other gacha games, then that will give it some points in its factor too. So if the gameplay is just kind of solidly done, that will give it a high ranking. But if the gameplay is very unique, but less well done, it will still get a high ranking because they took a risk. And the final one is overall vibes. So you can think of this as the cumulative scoring of the game. Now, with that said, we're moving on to our first game, Azur Lane. Azur Lane came out in 2017 for iOS and Android operating systems. I think Granblue Fantasy was 2014, so Granblue Fantasy is probably still the oldest one. But this is still a pretty old game. So obviously some things won't be fair. And there's some updated stuff that's like, I would say for the art, from what I recall, I'll give it an SSR, actually. I know we're starting pretty high, but I think it actually was really good. Because if we're judging Azur Lane by the oldest art, that's not fair. But because we were able to see the art from the latest event, which at the time was the racing event, it was actually really beautifully well done. And I think that the composition overall for the art was really nice. And a lot of the newer skins for the newer characters actually seem to match pretty well. Like you can tell when a character or some art is from Azur Lane. Wow, the one with lavender hair in Azur Lane looks so good. She reminds me of you. Yeah, that's why I'm giving it an SSR. Designs, I want to give it... I want to put it somewhere between SR and SSR because the game is based off of the ship girls. All the girls are like partially ships. And I think that they incorporate it really well in a lot of the designs. But I also think that there are some designs, especially because they were making new skins, where the ship concept didn't come across as clearly, or it was a little bit confused. Like it felt like they just stuck on some ballast on a woman and said she's a ship. So I would say somewhere between SR and SSR. I'll put SR+. I actually don't mind the designs, but again, they're limited by the concept. Gameplay. This is hard to judge because I only played the beginning. But I also think that it's also hard because the game that I played it on the PC, which I can tell the game was not meant for PC play because you're supposed to drag and press like multiple things at once. I'm gonna give it a solid SR because even though the gameplay is a little simple, it's at least a little different from other gacha games. So it's not just a card game. It's not just like, you know, card collecting and whatever buffing your units. It's actually kind of interesting. And having a game be a bullet hell, I don't think I've seen another gacha game that's a bullet hell yet. Gacha? I'm sorry to say, Azur Lane enjoyers, I really hated the gacha. And I know it's because it's from the Kankore era, where you're supposed to build ships and wait for like 3 hours, but I actually hate that system so much. I'm gonna give it, oh, I almost want to give it an N. Oh, and it doesn't matter because it is about the skins. I'm gonna give it an N, guys. I'm sorry, I hated the gacha. Anyway, so overall vibes for Azur Lane, it's pretty, it's okay. I think that the thing that really gives it a really strong saving grace is the art. The art is absolutely beautiful and the skins are really nice. But I think that as a gacha game overall, SR. I think it's a little unfair because it's such an old game. So a lot of newer games have like advanced and innovated based off of the basis of what Azur Lane gave them. But as it stands, SR. It's not a horrible experience. It just like some things are definitely a product of their time. Whoa! I just played that animation so we can pretend I went to the next game. Okay. Whoop. Whoa, animation, whoa. Next game we're judging is Arknights. Arknights and Azur Lane share the Surtur artist, I think, was it? But the art still changes because of the art director. If you can have like a really good artist, but you give them bad art direction, then it doesn't mean that the art's gonna be good. Same thing with actors, right? If you have a director who's not very good at directing the actors, you might have like Florence Pugh. You might have like, you know, Joaquin Phoenix. But if you can't direct them really well to the vibe you want, then they're just gonna suck even if they're a good actor. This one's hard because it might also be my personal bias. Because the thing I like about Arknights is that the art style, even though they have a lot of different artists, they somehow made it so that it feels really cohesive. There's some games where you'll have really different artists and they just don't really come together well, even if they're drawing from a similar sort of aesthetic. But Arknights, I don't know how they do it. They make all the different artists, their art styles really kind of, you can tell, usually speaking, when a character or when an art is from Arknights. So I want to give it a UR. Sorry, guys, for the bias. Designs. Oh, this is hard, man. I think that the thing is that Arknights has a really specific design aesthetic, which is so unique. And I actually like, I would say 90% of the designs. And even if I didn't like the design myself personally, you can tell it's from Arknights, which makes it really cohesive. Oh, I want to give it an SSR+. There's something that's holding me back from giving it exactly UR, but I think the designs are really good because it has such a strong design aesthetic and that each character is generally speaking really unique from the other. Also, you can usually tell from the character's design what class they're meant to be. Anyway, Arknights gameplay. Now, this one, again, is a bit biased. I just like the gameplay for Arknights. I like tower defense. And for me, personally, Arknights was the first anime waifu game that I saw that used tower defense. Like, I know we have Path to Nowhere that also uses tower defense, but I think Path to Nowhere came out later than Arknights. I could be wrong. Don't fact check me. So my first encounter with gacha game using tower defense like this. So I personally find it quite enjoyable. It's definitely not UR. It's fun, but not super fun and not super unique. I'll give it an SR. Gacha. All right, now let's talk about the Arknights gacha. I think it's just normal. Yeah. Arknights interesting in that it has traditional gacha, like, you know, just put in money and you'll do a 10 pull. But it also has the old method we just talked about, like Kankore, where you like do recruiting for like 3 hours or 12 hours. I'll just say R, because honestly, it's not that special. Anyway, but the overall vibes for Arknights, I think is pretty good. I think for a new player, Arknights is actually really friendly. So far, the community for Arknights has been really nice and really welcoming, and people don't like shit on you for being bad at the game. As near as I can tell, well, sometimes they do, but they've been nice to me. The art's really nice, and the gameplay is fun enough that I'm just not like, if I'm really good, I could probably turn off my brain and just play it, but I can also think a bit more about the strategy if I want, and it's actually quite friendly to a free-to-play player. I would give it overall vibes SSR, actually. I'm a big fan of it. All right, playing the next one. Woohoo! Pretend that was a normal transition. Nikke. All right, guys. What do we have to say about Nikke? Nikke came out, oh wow, really recently actually. It came out in 2022, so that was only 2 years ago. And that was for the smartphone edition. The PC edition actually came out in 2023, so quite recently. Oh, I gotta, do I gotta say you? I think I have to say you are. Not because I'm a gooner. Again, not because I'm a gooner. Not because the art is boobs and ass. Not because I'm a gooner. But because it's all high quality, baby. Wait, you don't like? No, I do. I mean, I do like the boobs and butt, but that's not, I mean, designs. That is an interesting question. I think that off the bat, we can say that Nikke has a really strong design aesthetic as well. Similarly to how Arknights has a really strong design identity, I think all the characters, generally speaking in Nikke, you can tell they're from Nikke. Yes, it's partially because all the characters have huge tits and ass and are very jiggly, but the other factor is that they use the military slash mech aesthetic to the very distinctly. So for Nikke, I would say it's like a 60% to 70% military, and then a 30 to 20% sci-fi design. The balance is quite evenly kept through most of the units and most of the art, so you can usually tell when it's a Nikke character. So that has a very strong design aesthetic. I remember when I was going through the character gallery, I think I liked most of the designs. There were a few where I felt like they were a bit out of place or they could have done more. But overall, I actually liked the designs quite a bit as well. I think I'm going to give this as an SSR. Anyways, gameplay for Nikke. This is my bias. I really like that Nikke reminded me of Time Crisis. It reminded me of Time Crisis and like the Jurassic Park arcade shooting game, so it made me really happy when I played it. It was really nostalgic. I don't know if there's a lot of third person. I don't know if there's a lot of like shooters like that in that style where it's from that angle, that perspective. But I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna give an SSR. Sorry, guys. I just like Time Crisis. Gacha. I don't remember. I think that it was just also similar to Arknights. Or no, was it similar to Arknights? I think that's just an SR for the gacha. Just really normal, was it? Or R. I gave an R. Damn, I really didn't like the gacha. Why do I want to give it an SR, but I gave the Arknights gacha an R? Oh, I guess there's nothing special about it. Oh, but the animation was fun to press. Is that crazy to give it a whole bump up because I had fun with the animation? I think it helps because it's super animated. In Arknights, the characters, when you put them in the gacha, they're not animated because I didn't have live 2D. Because they don't have the budget for that probably. And also probably because the game, well, they might have the budget for it now. But the game when it came out, it wasn't live 2D friendly. I just like the gacha. I had fun. Overall vibes for Nikke. Ooh, this is rough. Am I going to give it an SSR or UR? I'm going to give it an SSR+. UR I'm reserving for something that I feel like overall is just perfect. And here is Blue Archive. Let's go, baby. So here's the thing. Blue Archive is very different from the other games. I'd say that Blue Archive's art is actually more similar to Azur Lane because between the spectrum of like Korean gacha game and super anime, it's closer to the anime end of art style. So a lot of the cards in Blue Archive actually have more of a clean aesthetic. They're less painterly. The proportions on anatomy are more closer to like, you know, whatever blob moe anime we like. But that doesn't necessarily make the art bad. People often assume that more details means nicer art because our eyes just love details. But having simpler art style doesn't mean it's bad art. I actually quite like the art in Blue Archive. And I think that especially it has a really good cohesive sense of a style, very unique aesthetic. I think I would give Blue Archive's art an SSR. Oh, the designs. What am I gonna give this? Oh my god, this is hard. One of my favorite things about Blue Archive is the designs. I really like the designs for the characters because they have a strong, unique aesthetic. Like, obviously, the halos are a really helpful signifier that this is a character from Blue Archive. But I also like that they all have, like every school island or whatever in Blue Archive has their very unique identity. And each character, you can immediately tell from the aesthetics which school they're from. And also, they all match in that design idea. Ooh, I might give an SSR plus for the designs. Gameplay. Okay, I also really like the gameplay. I just really like the gameplay because it's so bright and cheerful. Also, the chibis are so cute. The chibis are so cute, and I like the perspective, and I like that the characters, like, there's a little bit of strategy about who you put first and stuff like that. You have to pay attention. I just like it's so fun. I want to give it SSR again. I just like the gameplay. The gacha for Blue Archive. Oh, you know what? If a gacha lets you do a reroll in-game, automatically I'm gonna give it a UR. Not to mention, not only did I get really good rolls, but also, oh my god, they let me re-roll my first 10 roll in the game itself. It knew that, hey, you know what? You only have a limited time on this earth. You have very limited time on this planet. I'm not gonna make you do some bullshit and reinstall delete the game's like cached memory or whatever, and then reinstall and then redo the entire tutorial for 7 levels. We're just gonna let you do rerolls forever until you get it. I love that this game is no bullshit, doesn't waste my time. Yeah! Don't waste my time! I only have like 2 years left on this earth until I die. That's not true. Overall vibes? Dude, I might give the overall vibes for Blue Archive a UR. Dude, I think I might actually give it a UR for the vibes and everything because everyone's so nice. And also, yeah, the music in the game didn't freaking bonk me. Like, I love Nikke. Nikke was such a fun game. But you know which freaking game bonked me for listening to the music in the menu? Nikke did! Nikke bonked me because I listened to the menu music or whatever music for too long. That's crazy! I can't even play your game on stream, bro! Blue Archive, our first UR. Alchemy Stars. Okay, so Alchemy Stars is a game that actually, I kind of feel bad for it because I heard a little bit about it, like a little fanfare when it first came out. And it's not that old. I think it's not Nikke noob. I don't think it's like Fate Grand Order old. It's somewhere in the middle, I think. So it only came out 1 year before Nikke. That's crazy. And then it died pretty much immediately. I don't know anybody who plays this game anymore. It didn't die. It didn't end of service, but I don't know anybody who plays our Alchemy Stars anymore, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people who play gacha games, but like for them, they tried it out, week of launch. And then I think they dropped it pretty much. You ever heard of this one? Exactly, right? People have not heard of this game because it didn't get really high up there. Okay, the art style, I actually liked it, but I'm biased against painterly style. I think that, from what I can tell, each faction seems like it probably has a strong identity. I would give the art style a solid SR plus because I don't think it's like really generic or whatever. And obviously, it has a strong like aesthetic of like whatever fantasy world it's going for. I don't think it's SSR enough because I think that none of the design. Oh wait, there's a tentacle boy. Okay, it's still SR plus, but that will bump up the design rating. The design rating will go up. Get! Don't stop edging to my get. Designs? Oh yeah, I had tentacle boy. You're right. You are SSR for tentacle boy. Gameplay for Alchemy Stars. I really liked it. I really liked it. I want to play. I actually might go back to revisit Alchemy Stars just because I want to try the gameplay more. The way that you have to do like pathfinding and also strategize and make sure that you like are able to combo colors and shit. That made my brain tickle in a funny way, and I'm gonna give it a UR for gameplay. Gacha. Alchemy Star Gacha. It was just okay, to be honest. I don't remember it being very good or very bad. Just an R. I literally don't remember anything about it. Overall vibes. Okay, overall vibes for Alchemy Stars. I feel so bad for it because the story seemed kind of cute too. Oh, but the MC was really moe. I will give it an SR plus because Alchemy didn't have much jiggle. I think so too. Alchemy Stars was not very much a Gunner game. Next game, Girls Frontline. Oh, I feel so bad. I'm scared. I'm not gonna like destroy the game, but I think that it was because of the product of its time. It's really hard for me to like. It's really hard. The thing is, the community was so nice. All of you guys were so sweet. If it was community ranking, the community for Girls Frontline would have got a UR because you guys were really nice. I'll be real with you guys. The Girls Frontline community, everyone was so nice that it made me want to keep playing the game for them. I'm gonna wait until Girls Frontline 2, and I'll actually play it. It's not necessarily my kind of game, but everyone was so nice that I will play Girls Frontline 2. Art. You know, I'm gonna refresh my memory. I'm gonna look for the VOD real quick because I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember. Let me just real quick. We're gonna refresh our memory and look at the VOD for Girls Frontline. The art style, I feel bad. I'm just gonna give it. I feel bad. No, but no. You know what? That will help boost designs. It'll boost. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it an R plus. I'm sorry. I'll give the art an R plus. The designs are actually pretty good. Oh, but no. Okay, no. This is reverse. I should give it SR for art. Design, I will also give it. I'm gonna give it an SR plus. The plus is just for Maggie. Also because some of the later skins or alternate units or whatever are really nice. Sometimes you look at a character in Girls Frontline and you can't tell that, like, if I took it out of the game, you wouldn't be able to tell it's from GFL. So it doesn't have a really strong design identity. It doesn't have a very unique identity, unfortunately, especially because it came out so early. So I think it's not as cohesive. And I imagine that throughout the years, Girls Frontline must have tried a lot of different things. Gameplay. What was Girls Frontline? It was the one where it was left to right, I think. It was almost like totally accurate battle simulator. How did I feel about it? I wasn't super into the gameplay. Yeah, I think I would just give it a solid R. I don't think it was N. I don't think it was that bad. The thing that edges it out of N is that Girls Frontline, at least they're trying to do something a little unique. Like the battle system seemed a little bit more unique than usual, but it wasn't. Just because it's unique doesn't mean it was super. It doesn't mean it was super fun for me. I would say it was just a solid R. Gacha for GFL, I think was just normal. It was really just normal. I'm just gonna give it a solid R. Anyway, Girls Frontline overall vibes. Let's see. I'm gonna say I will give Girls Frontline an SR. I'm gonna give it an SR. I'm gonna be really nice. I'm gonna get Girls Frontline SR. And I will tell you that 20% of that rating is because of how nice the community is. Reverse 1999! Woo! Not gonna lie, I really like Reverse 1999. They kept talking about running from the storm every 5 seconds in the game, and I was like, bro, It's Fortnite. The art's gonna be a UR for me. I'm sorry. I love the art. Not only does it have a really strong art direction, so all of the art is really cohesive, but two, the strong, like the design identity is so strong. It's so good. That's probably more in the design section, but I'm just gonna talk about it as a whole. Like, because they're from different time periods, but still kind of like a bit of a vintage game, you can tell when characters are from Reverse 99 because they have this really classic vintage vibe. Not to mention, you have a sliding scale between super fantasy and super realistic. And Reverse 99 has a perfect, like, it's vintage looking, but some of the design choices make it look a bit fantasy. So I'd say it's 70%, 60 to 70% on the scale towards the fantasy section. So that's why it looks so unique. And then also, it has such a cool design identity, like with how unique the card graphics are and the animations and the way that they're themed after the characters are themed after their moves are themed after them, and they're just really cool. And also even the UI looks really cool, and the way that they take inspiration from art, from history, from a lot of different things, and from mythology, and it's just so much fun. I really like the strong, really strong art and design sense. Really good. But you can tell that like everything about Reverse 99 is such a like labor of love, and there's so much love put into every single detail and so much money, and I'm really glad that people are really taken to it. I remember that Reverse 1999 also had a really aggressive advertising strategy, and it worked out for them. So I expected that I would like it because it's really pretty, but like the aggressive like advertising was like, you know what, they're trying to force me into the trap, I'm not gonna do it. It was like reverse psychology. But then like when I played it, I was so surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Man, Rina about to get me into a Gacha game. Oh no, Owen. Don't bite the apple. He's a very handsome apple though. Designs. Oh, I also love the designs. Oh my god, I just love the designs. I'm sorry, I really like the designs. Again, really unique identity, really like treads the space between fantasy and like vintage, which or realism really nicely. I like that it has a little touch of fantasy to make it unique and clearly a gacha game. I like that. The gameplay. Okay, I'm trying to divorce the gameplay from the fact that it's really flashy and pretty, but I like the game. But it is just a card game. It is really just a card game. I'll give the gameplay an SR+, because it's like just card combinations, but I like the strategy, because at least there's some card games where it's literally just attack, use your special. This one, at least there's actually a little bit of strategy towards it. I just really have a lot of fun playing it. I also think that I'm going to get a slightly higher rating than usual, because the gameplay is very polished. It feels very tight. The timing, the combination of skills, and like the slight amount of strategy. So you could just no-brain the game, but you could also spend some time to actually create strategy. So that's what I like about it. And also, another thing that I was gonna say, really nice community. And everyone in Reverse 99 community who came to the chat and hang out, they were really chill. They were really nice. They didn't spoil anything for me. They were just like they're just really happy to see other people playing it and really praising how beautiful the game was. So they were really nice. Gacha. But people are saying the free to play, and I did have some fun rolls. Based on what people are saying also, I'll give it a SR-, because nothing's too unique about it, but any game that is really generous for free to play is really nice. Overall vibes, you guys knew we were gonna do this. You guys knew I was gonna give Verse 999 a UR. Solid game, beautiful game, really polished, really nice community, really fun. And the story also, the story writing, even though we're not judging story writing was really nice and hooked me immediately. Wuthering Waves. Woo. The art. Oh god, please. Wuthering Waves fans, do not come for me. Do not come for my ass. Do not kill me. I'm sorry. I think SR, yeah. Like a lot of people said, I think that if the art style is a bit more cohesive, because it feels like it's a bit, and again, I kind of slightly blame the, who are Hoyoverse fans. I'm a Hoyoverse fan, so this is self-inflicted harm. But like the initial game for Wuthering Waves apparently had a much darker, grimmer aesthetic, and I think that would have given it a much stronger identity. Because the way that some of the designs are like have really bright elements, and then some of them have really dark elements, makes it a bit disjointed. Whereas I think if they'd gone full in on like the kind of Bloodborne, like really grim dark aesthetic, it would have worked a lot better for them. There are some designs I really like for Wuthering Waves, but some of them I'm like, man, this would be so close if it just like, if you took away like 10% of this design, it would look so much better. I think it is, for me, it's gonna be an SR. Gameplay? The gameplay is not bad actually. I don't mind the gameplay. I think for gameplay, I'll give it an SSR. It's a reluctant SSR. I might knock it down a little bit, but I actually do have fun with the gameplay. It's active, which makes you more involved. It's actually, I think it's quite distinct from the Genshin gameplay, even though there's obviously a lot of comparisons. But I think that it feels just a little bit tighter than the Genshin's gameplay. Now for the gacha, this is going to be... The gacha gets a goddamn N for me. You know why it gets an N? You know why it gets an N? It's because it gave me the goddamn tiger boy. It gave me the little tiger little boy. The only character I didn't want from the banner, the only character I didn't want from the goddamn 5-star banner is that it gave me the little tiger boy. I said, don't give me the tiger boy. I said, don't give me the tiger boy. And you know what the game fucking did? You know what the game fucking did? The game gave me the tiger boy. It gave me the tiger boy. Anyone else? Anyone other than the tiger boy? Overall vibes for Wuwa. I'm gonna give it an SR+. The gameplay is fun, and I like that there's a lot of money input budget. I feel bad for putting SR+. It just wasn't as much of my cup of tea. Honestly, a lot of what brought this up is the gameplay. The gameplay was quite fun. Oh, Sdorica. Oh, no. You know what? I'm not worried because there are only 2 Sdorica fans. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna be so real. I'm surprised this game has not end of serviced yet. I'm not, knock on wood, I don't want to curse this game, but I'm surprised it has not end of service yet. Art for Sdorica is actually pretty good. No, I don't blame it. Because the thing is, you can't say Sdorica doesn't have a cohesive design aesthetic because it's a story. Everything, as long as it's fantasy storybook, it's a cohesive aesthetic because the game takes place over course of many books. I really like the UI. The UI is a little bit outdated, but it's so cute. I'm gonna give it an SSR- for the art style, for the art only. Designs. You know what? I'm gonna give the designs an SSR-. No, SR+? The designs are actually pretty interesting and unique. Any game that actually has the courage to have a furry race and have furry units is always really, like, impressive. Because gamers don't want to pay money to get a furry, usually speaking. Like unless it's a hot cat girl. If it's like a big bear man, oftentimes gamers are not interested in that because they want the waifu. So when they have a game that has a whole species where they're actually furries, and I mean fully covered, not the Kimono Mimi, it always makes it a bit harder to make it cohesive with the rest of the cast. So I think that because they have such interesting, unique units in Sdorica, it gets a better rating. I think I'll give it SR+. You just do yard because the game has big, huge furry tits on them, and that's true. You're right, it does have furry men. Wait, SSR-. It does have huge furry tit men. All right, gameplay. Gameplay was actually really fun because it was like connecting little balls, and I love connecting balls. Man, am I getting Sdorica a good score? That's crazy. I just like balls. This is so biased. I'm so biased because I like balls. I'm gonna give it an SR+. I know I bursted when you said I like connecting balls. I mean, I bursted too when I connected the balls, let's be real. The gacha is where this game might be down a peg or 2. Because it had a bunch of banners and I was very confused. Honestly, they were quite generous with the amount of currency they gave me. I also don't think this game deserves to be dead based on the... But I also don't think it deserves true life because it is a little bit... It feels a little bit dated. I don't know what it is about the game, but the way that the game is put together, it feels a little dated. But I think it's very cute. The gacha, I don't like very much. It was kind of rude to me, but apparently it gives... I'm gonna have R+. I think the overall vibe for this game is probably gonna be... I think I'm gonna give it SR+. And honestly, a big factor of me giving it SR+ is because of how charming the game is. It's an extremely charming game, even though I think that the whole package isn't quite come together as a whole. And I think that the game, there's something about it that feels a bit dated and not quite like together, but it's very charming, the identity of it. Path to Nowhere will be interesting. I was gonna say, this will be hard for me to rate objectively because it was a very horny game. This might be the horniest I've ever been on while playing a game, you know? Not like actually horny, but like my behavior, really Goonerville. Anyway, the art is a UR. The art is a UR. So like I was saying with Wuwa, I feel like if this game fully leans into the really dark aesthetic, I mean, it takes place in a prison, so that makes sense, right? And it's in a world where there's a lot of like, you're enslaving a bunch of prisoner girls with special powers. Like, it's really dark, and the world is full of crime, and which is crazy, and like, it really leans hard into its strong aesthetic, which I think really helps with it. Also, beautiful hot mommies who will kill me. Designs? I think they had a pretty good design aesthetic. I don't think it's UR design. The game had you speechless, so definitely for the art at least. I'll give it an SSR- because I think that they're really beautiful and hot, and I love mommies, and I want them to all kill me. And I also think that it does have a strong, like, the dark, grim prison aesthetic for all the characters. But I think that it's not super unique. It's not super identifiable. If I saw a character from Path to Nowhere on Twitter, I might not immediately know that it's from Path to Nowhere. So it's an SSR-, but I really like the designs. And the gameplay was actually pretty fun. I didn't get to play too much of it, but what I did play was actually pretty fun. I think I'll give it an SSR. I think that's what I gave Arknights, right? Gameplay. Oh, I gave gameplay SR. Oops. Whoops, I got too horny brained. I think I'll give it if that's success, I'll give it an SR plus. Because I actually just I did enjoy the gameplay more. I think I like the fact that I'm not as trapped. Because Arknights is a lot more about making sure that you're blocking off lanes and things like that. I'm sure the strategy gets more complicated later. But I like that I can move people, strategize with people a bit more in a different shape. The gacha was very mean to me. Oh, but I thought the gacha was fun. Path to Nowhere had the gacha where you drag the scanner around the city and then people pop up. That was kind of fun. I'm gonna give her an SR minus. Purely because I had fun dragging the circle around. Can you tell that I love circles and balls? Overall vibes, I really liked it because it killed me. The game, you know, like the women tried to kill me. All right, next game. Let's go. Woo. Punishing Grey Raven. Okay. Punishing Grey Raven came out in 2019? I thought that it was much later. That's crazy. I'm gonna give the art an SSR probably. That might be able to edge to SSR plus, but I think SSR for now, just based off of, yeah. The world design is really good. The characters look really cohesive. It's grim dark, but also sci-fi. Even the maps look really dark and like foreboding, which is nice. Designs? Oh, now let's talk about the designs. I actually mostly like the designs for Punishing Grey Raven, the character designs. They had a lot of, the skins were fun too. They had really fun skins. And I think, again, generally speaking, the designs were pretty well thought out and cohesive together. Oh, this is the game with the lady with the, this is the game with the lady with really big tits, right? SR plus. Gameplay was really fun. Even though I had issues with my controller, I had a lot of fun with the gameplay. Even though the boss just killed me immediately and I was suffering, I actually like the gameplay. I'm gonna give it a tentative UR for the gameplay. It does have balls, you're right. I don't remember anything about the gacha. I think that if the gacha wasn't if it didn't stick out in my memory, it probably was just normal. I think it didn't give me very good units either. So I'm gonna give it probably just an R, a solid R, because I don't remember much about it. Overall vibes, I think it's an SSR. Love and Deepspace. This was very fun. The art style, it's kind of hard to judge because it's more 3D models, but I like the art style, but I also think that it kind of like the 3D models don't have a super unique identity. Like if you didn't play the game, you wouldn't know that this game is about fighting aliens in space. Like, did you guys know that? The game is about fighting aliens in space colonies, and you're trying to protect people from like these, like, it's crazy. This fight, I thought it was about it's not about fight, it's stripping man. There's actually gameplay. It's like a third-person shooter. So the art is for this, I think it's hard because it's very hot, sexy men. Hot, sexy, sexy, sexy men. I'm gonna give it an SR plus probably because I am only a woman. The designs are actually not that unique. They're really generic. It's on purpose though. The designs being so generic is on purpose because that way you can find the men sexier. If the designs were too unique and complicated, I think that people wouldn't find them as hot. So I'm gonna have to give the designs, I'm gonna give an SR plus as well. Okay, gameplay, it's fine. Honestly, it's just fine. I'm gonna give an R plus because at least it tries to do something. It's not just me like collecting cards or whatever, or just touching men. Honestly, it feels more touching men. The ranking might go up a bit, but it's fine. It's actually not bad. The gacha was very rude to me. And also it showed me some sexy scenes, so I had to cover the screen sometimes. So I'm just gonna give it a solid R plus. Okay, overall vibes for Love and Deepspace. I'm gonna give her an SR plus. I actually really liked it, but I think it was because 90% of the reason why I liked Love and Deepspace so much was because I spent so much time with the character creator. Fate Grand Order. This is hard to say. I didn't roll a lot of the characters. I do know, however, that the art is very beautiful. This is gonna be controversial. I think that this game art should be a UR. I think that you can't argue that Fate Go doesn't have good art because it has so many unique artists. And also, it's kind of like the breeding ground for a lot of really big artists. If you've done art for Fate Grand Order, it's a pretty big deal. Or your career takes off, or your career did take off, or it's like an honor. So I think it's pretty good. Basically, the art is probably the strongest point of Fate Grand Order. Designs, we're gonna go with... Man, I gotta give it a UR, I'm sorry. It has such unique designs and so many unique ideas for characters, and like, you would never think Oda Nobunaga would be a cute little anime girl. I just think that they have peak designs. Now for the gameplay, it's a bit harder for me to tell. I think it's pretty basic and it's not that unique, not that complicated. I think the gameplay is gonna be... It's just gotta be an R. I'm sorry to gameplay enjoyers for Fate Go, but I don't think it has really unique or fun gameplay. I just kind of did the gameplay to get through the game. The gacha is going to be... I think we might give it an N. I have heard too many horror stories from every single person who's played this game to not give it an N. Overall vibes, I would say Fate Go is a solid... I'm gonna give it an SR plus. You know, it's crazy, but the reason why I'm giving it an SR plus is because I think that the story seemed kind of interesting. I think the worst part is the gacha vibes, but there's a reason it's been so popular and so many people like it. I think it's probably a solid SR plus. Granblue Fantasy. I am going to give the art a UR. Near as I can tell, People told me that it is one artist. I don't know if that's true, but I also think that Granblue Fantasy has such an iconic art style. You can always tell when a character is from Granblue Fantasy. And not to mention, they actually carried that art style throughout all the games, through all the sequel games, all the other ones. It's just so iconic. It makes me a little happy because it reminds me a little nostalgically of Final Fantasy Tactics. Goated art style, really good designs for everything. Just really beautiful art. I really like the art. Granblue Fantasy, true. The designs are also going to get a UR from me, actually. I really like the designs for Granblue Fantasy. Because not only are they very unique, but they have unique races. And I think that some of the design choices, like they have some units that they went really bold with. And again, very iconic. Even the monsters, I think the monsters and like bosses or whatever in Granblue Fantasy are really cool and really well designed. I think it's really hard for certain RPG fantasy monsters to not seem derivative of other RPGs. The gameplay is probably... It's gonna be an R+ for the gameplay. Guys, it's a card game. I don't know what to say, guys. It's just a card game that you click. I know there's a lot about building your grid and building up your units, but the gameplay itself is really basic. The gacha? Rare game that I'm gonna give a UR for the gacha. Granblue Fantasy gave me so many roles as a new player. I was almost late for D&D. It gave me so many roles that I was almost late for real life. I didn't even have time to do all of them. Overall vibes for Granblue Fantasy. I'm gonna give it an SSR+. It has great vibes, beautiful art. The community seems pretty funny and nice. A really generous game, SSR+. It almost could be a UR, but I think that the gameplay could be a bit more evolved. Epic 7. I was really surprised about this game. I just chose it randomly because a few people suggested it. I didn't even know it was that popular, but I actually had a really good time playing this. Art is like, again, it's closer to the more anime style. The animations did go so hard. It had good yaoi. Yep, it had good yaoi. But yeah, the art is a bit different. It's more anime style, but I think that's not bad. I think that's pretty cohesive. I actually like the art style. It has a very sweet, like refreshing feeling that reminds me of like early 2000s anime, which I do enjoy. I think some of the skins kind of sucked, but that was for design, I guess. I'm gonna give the art a SSR-, because it has a really clear art direction. All the characters generally seem like they're from this. No, wait, no. I guess I'll put that in designs. No, oh, do I want SR-? This game has robot girls in it, and then also fantasy girls. I wouldn't be able to tell that characters were. You know what? I'll change that. I'll add that to the design score. Design score will have to probably be changed to be a bit lower. I'll give it SR- because I generally like the art direction. And generally speaking, I like the overall aesthetic of the game. I think that everything is pretty cohesive in terms of the vibe and aesthetic, except for the character design sometimes. Well, yeah, and also the SSR is also because the animation is so beautiful. Every character's animation, well directed, really pretty, really well done. The fact that every character gets one, amazing. And every skin gets one too, amazing. I'm gonna give it SR because you reminded me of how beautiful the animations are. Anyway, the designs, I would say, I'm gonna give it an SR+. I know it's a bit controversial, but it's because A, the designs were from really different time periods, which was very confusing to me. Luckily, the art style, the art direction is strong enough like that everything kind of looks like it's from the same game. I just don't think you could tell, based just on the design, whether some characters are from this game or not. But yeah, I think an SR+ for the design. Because again, I still think they were good designs for the most part. It's just that there's like a little bit something a bit off. The gameplay? What was the gameplay? We just played this the other day. Let me think. Let me try to remember. What was the gameplay? Oh, we just run to... Oh yeah, and then you plus the... I think there's a bit more strategy than a regular just like side-scroller. So I would give the gameplay SR+. Gacha. Was this the game that let me keep re-rolling? You are Gacha. Sorry, goated Gacha. If it lets me re-roll, goated Gacha. I'm gonna give it an SSR+. Because the thing is that I really liked the game and had a really fun time. I would recommend it to some friends, but I wouldn't recommend it to every friend. It just has really good vibes, and the story I actually am interested in. I actually like the writing. Like, I think, like, not just because like the world building. I love time travel stories again, and also the way that they wrote the characters felt like fleshed out. The characters had interesting dynamics with each other, and it seems like this game actually cares about their characters. And now to the final part of the stream. Bam, bam, bam. We're gonna speed run this real quick because I have to go eat dinner and shower and be a real person. So this one is not objective. This is just based off of what I liked it and had fun. But here is what we got. So the top tier is SSR God game. Really good game. Wonderful. I would rate to everyone. Recommend to everyone. SR is we will keep playing them. R is we will watch your development with interest. N is not my cup of tea. And this is a retirement home. Because some games are just really old and I don't think that like... probably just needs an update. It needs an update and probably doesn't suit modern audiences. So Punishing Grey Raven, we will put... I think we'll put it and we will watch your development with interest. Because we will try it again, but I have to see if I can even play it. Sdorica... It's gonna go in the retirement home. I'm sorry. Guys, it's really old. Path to Nowhere. We will play it again, I think. We will play it again. Free Grand Order. Probably not my cup of tea. It's probably not my cup of tea. Sorry. Girls Frontline. Also, thank you for the super chat, Neo! Neo, is this a bribe? Is this a bribe to put fake Grand Order in SSR? Because I can't be bribed. I can't be bribed. If that was a bribe, I will put fake Grand Order in SSR God game. Actually, whoa! Fake Grand Order is such a good game! Whoa! I really like this game! Whoa! Granblue Fantasy. Granblue Fantasy is we will watch with great interest. Because I like it. I just don't know if I like it. It might be teetering on retirement home, but for now, it's we will watch your development. It's definitely not a bribe for Blue Archive to go to Astera. Thank you for the super chat, Captain! Oh my god, wonder where we'll put Blue Archive. Whoa, that's crazy. Blue Archive actually is an you know what? Blue Archive actually is an SSR God game. Everything about it was so good. It was so fun. Vibes are good. The gameplay is fun. Super cute. I would recommend this game to people if it weren't for the fact that everyone is a child. Let's see. Arknights? We will keep playing. This one I know that much. I will keep playing. Azur Lane? Azur Lane should go in the retirement home. I'm sorry. Epic 7 was cute. I really thought it was cute. I think we'll keep playing. Piss Rina, Arknights on top of your head. Whoa, oh my god. God. Arknights. I love Arknights. Hold on a second. Guys, I'm being possessed. I don't know what's happening. I have to find the logo. Whoa, Arknights is such a good game. Actually, I realized Arknights is actually a goated game. Like, I don't know what, goated with a sauce. Really great. Wuthering Waves was not my cup of tea. Sorry, Wuthering Wave enjoyers, not my cup of tea. Love and Deep Space is probably not my cup of tea, but I will keep playing it because I love the men. Alchemy Stars we will watch with great interest. Nikke is a god game. Yeah. So this is the ranking. Here's the final ranking. Absolutely sincere final ranking. Where's that mysterious 2 black lines in SSR? It says it's reverse 1999. You can't see it. It's reverse 1999. It's not good because of the color, but it is. All right. And that's our stream.